Bethany Mandel is my guest author, co-author of Stolen Youth. Good morning, Bethany. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. Now, Bethany, there's been a statue defaced in England. I just want to know if your 3-year-old was out of the country last week.
I saw that and I was like, well, that's kind of what you get for giving crayons to children. You're kind of asking
Yeah,
for it. I'm not even
they were
surprised.
asking for it, and I assured the audience Genghis Kate was not out of the country. I just was wondering about yours and Mary Catherine Ham's children. Let me ask you though about this story, Bethany, because it kind of feeds into Stolen Youth. Bud Light suffers staggering 17% sales plunge amid Dylan Mulvaney controversy. My take on this is they're not boycotting. They don't want anything to do with this. They just don't want
Yeah.
to be at the bar or what do you think? That's a massive drop in sales. What do you put that down to?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when it comes to bar sales, people don't want to be caught drinking Bud Light anymore because now you're sort of like, well, you're the dope that's still buying that item that the company hates you. Mary Catherine on her podcast, Getting Hammered, had a great sort of take about it. She said, I'm not boycotting. I don't feel like I am sort of angrily distancing myself from the brand out of spite. She just said, this is a brand that hates me. They don't want me as a customer, and I'm just listening. That's all I'm doing is listening.
That is very well put. I'll ask her about that tomorrow. I never boycott anything. I think they're dumb. But I do change my consuming habits based upon an information flow, and I don't want to argue. I am so sick of politics when I'm not supposed to be doing politics. If I go on special reporter on my show, I'll talk about politics and culture and
Right.
everything else. But mostly I want to focus on the NFL draft this week. And so I don't want to be drawn in to the Dylan Mulvaney conversation. And I think most of Americans are exhausted, and they don't want to talk about it with their children either. I mean, I don't want to go down and see my grandchildren this weekend and end up talking about Dylan Mulvaney.
Yep, that's exactly right. One of my favorite columns ever in the history of column writing, Jay Nordlinger, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, wrote a column, My Kingdom for a Safe Zone. And that was, 15, 20 years ago. And now I'm like, please God, I would love to go anywhere or do anything without it being a value signal. And now you go to the bar and you order a beer and you have to sort of check the bona fides of your beer company to make sure that they don't hate you. You have to check your shoe company. I mean, it was Nike as well. What I found was interesting was that the Nike deal and the Bud Light deal happened simultaneously. Nike got a lot less pushback than Bud Light. And I think it's just because people sort of associate Bud Light with not being overtly political in a way that Nike has been for years, but also just because they were supposed to understand who their customers.
Oh, we lost Bethany there, lost her feed. She froze on us. They are supposed to understand who their customers are. They are supposed to know that. Nike is a left. There she's back. We lost you there for a second, Bethany. So you were saying Nike is known. It's from Oregon. Phil Knight just gave
Yeah.
$400 million to Portland to rebuild their African American neighborhoods. They are a left wing company. Bud is Missouri. Bud is the
Yep.
Clydesdales. And she also attacked the Fratty, their vice president of
Yes.
marketing, attacked the customer. I mean, it's just,
Yep.
where do these people learn this?
I mean, they learn it because they live in a bubble that is not in Missouri. I think that the lesson here for people in marketing, and they'll never learn it, so we'll have this conversation again in 6 months, is that they need to have everyone based where their customers are based. Don't hire a marketing firm from New York City or Los Angeles. If your customer base is from Missouri, hire someone from Missouri. And I think that conservatives want to don't want to silo ourselves, but we need better marketing programs at the University of Iowa and hire those graduates.
That's why Charles Koch always hires from Wichita State. He just hires from
Oh,
Wichita State, and he gets very competent, very successful Wichita State people who just do their jobs. Bethany, very quickly, I want to ask you about Tucker. I think he could very well be Donald Trump's vice presidential selection. I don't know what happened. Nobody knows what happened. But what do you think is the reaction of the public to that?
I mean, I think people were really shocked. He was probably their most popular anchor. Among people in the media circuit, he elicits very strong feelings one way or the other. Either it was funny. I tweeted last night that I've heard so many stories of him sending out of the blue text messages and calls to people who were sort of in the lower rungs of the conservative movement, and I got a text like, look up in the dictionary jerk. This person did not say the word jerk, but and you'll find a picture of Tucker Carlson. So there's these like very extreme opinions about Tucker on either side, and that's, I mean, that's Trump as well. So I can sort of see how he might go that route and be like, this is a pick that will definitely get people
Let
talking.
Truman
He's
in.
not like
Let Truman
he was
in, Bethany Mandel. We want to see
he was just next
Truman.
to me. He was just next to me. I will tweet the picture. I was like panicked the whole time that he would jump on me again.
Oh, we love Truman. Bethany Mandel. Follow her on Twitter at Bethany Sean Dark. Her book is Stolen Youth. I'll be right back, America.